Welcome back, guys, to Pastor's Coffee. This is episode 31. We're sorry we missed you last week. We're going to fill you in on our crazy weeks last week. Stiff, let's start with you. How have you been? How things been going?
We're going pretty good. Last week with VBS, crazy week. I mean, anybody who volunteered with VBS knows that it is a exhausting week. A good week, but an exhausting week. And so I was around taking some videos for the church. We did kind of a daily video thing, and so that was cool. First time they've done that for
Did you
VBS.
put those videos together too?
I did.
Dude, that was good.
Appreciate it.
The editing was very good.
iMovie does it all, man.
I knew you were like that. I just didn't know how like that. Yeah.
It's what we do, you know. But I had a gimbal. I don't know if I figured out what a gimbal was last week before shooting those. It's basically it you can move the thing and your phone stays completely still.
I've seen those. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we had. Cool. We had one of those lying around here, and so I used it, put it to work.
Cool. Yeah.
So, but yeah, we had VBS. Pretty regular week. Other than that, I preached Sunday night. That went well. And so it was just a little busier. This week I'm going on a camping trip with some of the youth guys. From tomorrow at about 12 to Saturday. So, and then cool. Saturday, if the tickets go down, maybe going to the old Pittsburgh with Alex. So we'll see how it goes. Tickets are, I don't know why, but tickets are insanely high right now for Pittsburgh. They're playing the Phillies, so the Phillies are insane right now. And
might have something to do with the pitcher you have. Yeah.
And Polsky. So, you know. But anyway, how would your week go?
This week, man, I'm feeling like I got a ton of time, which is nice. Last week was so busy. Did an FCA camp those first 3 days, and that was pretty cool. Anytime you get to share basketball and Jesus at the same time, it's pretty cool.
Nothing better.
So I enjoyed that. That's right. And then shout out to Ben Lewis. Not sure if he's listening to it, but got to connect with him again. And I spoke for his rally / revival at his church. And I just want to thank them again because I felt so welcomed and they were really, really good to me. I was super encouraged leaving there. So yeah, just very thankful for that and meeting some new people and also reconnecting with some old friends. So cool. It was a busy week, but worth it, and I'm glad we're at this week now.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And something along with those, this week, I just wanted to share on this real quick. We've talked a little bit about this already, but again, with my top 5 unpopular opinions back in a while ago. Again, we need to for sure tell our children if they can't sing, especially adults. If you watched the All-Star game, MLB All-Star game last night, no, sorry, that was the Home Run Derby.
2 nights ago.
Home Run Derby. I don't even remember her name anymore, but absolutely butchered it. I'm just gonna put it blank out there. Can we just whoever approving these, it has to be the same person. We need to get and find them real soon. Do you have any opinion on that?
I think that you're right on par with everything there. I think you're hitting the nail right on the head. I just want to comment that again. I listened to it. It was tough to watch. Very tough to watch. Brought me back to the Fergie at the NBA All-Star game. It was that level. And her response was that she was not all there and nerves got the best of her. It had to be something. I mean, this is a 4-time Grammy Award winner. And unless that studio has the best auto-tune ever, I haven't listened to her other songs, but she has to be better than that. Then to have those Grammy awards, and I don't want to hate on her too bad, but that was rough. That was very rough. I don't know what you say, but her response that she just wasn't all there, and I guess she said she was drunk and stuff. I don't know if that was the best.
I've never been under the influence.
Me either. Me either.
But what I've heard is that some people get better under the influence. So I don't know. I don't know how we're.
I can't speak to it. I don't know.
I can't. I don't know. So that's. But
maybe that's something you should comment if you. If you have, then let us know.
Let us know if that's actually what happened, or if she's just bad and this is her cover-up story.
Yeah, I don't know.
But either way, I just don't know how maybe it was good, the audition. Maybe they didn't even need an audition. You're like, you know what?
Let's say she probably didn't audition.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that as well. But I do want you to comment down below if which one was worse, Fergie or whoever this person is.
We'll put a poll. We'll put a poll in the comments.
Down in the comments.
That's what we'll do.
Little interactions and
yeah.
Everybody likes to comment.
How about one of you show some love?
We would appreciate it. And so
we love you guys.
We do. We appreciate all of you who watch, but I just wanted to go ahead and get that out there before the end of the episode. Cause
you know what? I'm glad you did. It needed to be said. I do want to wish my parents, it is their 26th wedding anniversary today. So it's really special. And everybody wish them happy anniversary. If you see this still today, this is Wednesday. If we get it out, I don't know if we will or not. But if you do, send them happy anniversary. I know they would appreciate it. But transitioning, I'm gonna help my man out here. We obviously that was a groundbreaking thing. Watching the anthem, it had a lot of noise, but I don't think you've woke up if you didn't obviously hear what's been going on in our country, and it's not a thing to joke about. I know we do all the time, but it's super serious, and it's tough to even put it into words. You know, the fact that we're talking about this is insane. You know, we grow up in school and you learn about assassination attempts on the president, and you look at our world today and you think about the level of security that we have and all of the detail. I mean, the president doesn't go anywhere without, almost 100 people with him, you know, making sure that he's okay, you know. So to have this in an outside venue, you know, with eyes everywhere, you know, the fact that being that open might need to be rethought, you know, of venues and safety. I think everything needs to get talked about again. But before I keep going, what were your thoughts? Before I say this isn't a political issue. You know what I mean? This is so much bigger than that. It doesn't matter what side you fall on it. That's not my concern either. My concern is there was somebody that died, and then if that, can't imagine the family. This person just going to support who they support, and then the trauma for the families. But then presidential candidate, he moves his head an inch to the other side, and we're having a whole different conversation right now. You know.
Yeah.
So what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I actually was watching this. I wasn't watching it live, but I had the news on shortly after it happened, and just it was. I've really never experienced something live kind of like that. That's the first time. Like one of the bigger crazy moments was the Boston Marathon bombing. And that happened during a baseball game of mine, and everybody was talking about it. But I haven't been sitting down with something happening live like that. And just the uncertainty of it all. Even the news who gets insider information, just like that, and they're sitting there uncertain. And it's just crazy. And I think this is a battle more than just Republican and Democratic at this point, with just pure evil. And I'm not saying Trump is God or anything out there, but I think that it came to this point is saying something, that we're pushing farther than just voting for a different person. We're voting. We're people are trying to kill him. I mean that. Um, and so I would see it as an act of God that he turned his head that way. At this point, I have no other way to really recognize it as God intervening with us and moving his head slightly this way and just clipping his ear. I mean, just insane. And I think Trump. I think this is a big, as weird as it may sound, but a big motivator now for him to even get past all this. Um, and so, but just with my reaction of how even us as a Christian move, deal with this. Um, I think you just have to look at God and see how he's going to affect all of it. Obviously, he's going to put who he wants into office, whether that be Trump or Biden or maybe even somebody else at this point. We don't even know. Um, and we have to realize that God has a will that we cannot see. Um, and I think that's hard, especially for Americans, where we push for what we want. Um, but I think ultimately we have to rest in God and His plan, and even though it may not be our plan, however it may go, um, that we have to be assured in Him. I did see something different than that. I did see an interview with somebody, and they're saying that we as America are getting back to September 10th of 2001,
Yeah.
where we're kind of not looking as cautiously towards attacks like this anymore.
Yeah.
September 10th, nobody, I mean, airplanes were letting anybody onto the airline. Now
Yeah.
you have to go through 3 or 4 check-in spots to get
Yeah.
on an airplane.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what maybe happened here, is that we're just
Gotten
turning a
comfortable.
blind eye
Hmm.
to terrorism and everything, where we
Could
think
be.
that now with the technology that we have, we would be able to see a person on a roof,
Yeah.
and maybe it was an inside, maybe, I don't know. Didn't really, we're
Yeah.
not getting into really that, but like,
I don't know.
I think us as America, and especially in the time that we live in, we need to get on a more of a September 11th attitude, where anything could happen at any time, and we have to be aware and
Yeah.
ready for things like that. And even especially in churches, I think now is that we kind of view security as not as big of a deal until we see, oh, there was a church shooting out there, now we need to get security. I think that should be
Yeah.
um, an automatic thought. But anyway,
Yeah.
I'll go back to you. What were your thoughts?
No, I think you're right on the money, and that's not something I really thought about either. Just kind of the lack of security in places. I think we were so scared of viruses, the last few years,
Yeah.
and distancing ourselves, that we forgot about the violence, that and the
Hmm.
terrorism that's out there. I mean, we've been so distanced, for the past few years. Now that crowds are back and people are packing places again, I think all those conversations come back up. But I think, yeah, I mean, we have kind of gotten comfortable. But obviously, I was uh, I was at um, the youth rally, um, and I didn't have any service, so I didn't have anything. I spoke. Nobody knew anything there, and got in my car, drove about 10 more minutes till I got service, and my phone just blew up. Just getting text
Yeah.
after text and comment. Um, I think, again, regardless, it's not for us to speak for God, but I mean, I don't know of any other explanation for why he's not dead than the fact
Yeah.
that God, intervened. And again, you open up that conversation of, well, if he intervened for him, why wouldn't he intervene for other people that have that? And I've seen that comment, some places, why doesn't God show up? But if we can't trust that God is in control, then we can't trust anything. There's nothing of any certainty. He is the
Yeah.
only thing that's certain, in our lives. And I think, with times like this, you appreciate different things. You appreciate your time. You never know how much time you have in certain situations. I mean, I just keep bringing up the person in the crowd that was killed because of it.
Mhm.
It's awful. It is. Um, but you don't know. You go to these places and it makes you not want to leave the house, because I mean these
Yeah.
people are just going there. You just never know what happens. But then you have to trust that God knows what He's doing. Um, and I think all of this kind of, I mean, for us as pastors, we have to be able to provide, encouragement and a pathway forward of showing people that God is still on the throne despite the mess.
Yeah.
What we see is a mess. I've been teaching through Daniel, and I don't know if there's a more um I don't know, that's not the right way to put it. I don't know if there's a better book in scripture that describes God's sovereignty, God being in control than Daniel. Just
Yeah.
all these events where God either sparing or working out this certain thing or taking down a king, taking down this empire and putting the next one in to bring glory to himself. Um, One thing that I think was so important, and I think is the number one thing that we can take from any of this, because I know that we are so across the board politically as a nation, and but we also, as Christians, and this is a Christian discussion, have to believe that whoever is there, that God put them there for a reason. Have to believe that, and
Mhm.
God is still in control ultimately, which is so tough to wrestle, especially when some leaders are completely anti-God and completely the things of what we believe. It's hard to even wrestle with. But I will say this with Daniel, one thing that I've learned, one thing that's so frustrating is when you look at Daniel, he's got this first king, he's got Nebuchadnezzar, and Nebuchadnezzar is really anti-God, and he's putting statues and all these idols, and he's making the people of Babylon believe, in this and worship him and worship the king. And Daniel refuses, and his three friends refuse, and he's threatening to kill all who will. Well, Daniel
Mhm.
ends up interpreting a dream and doing this, but then he dies, and a new king comes up, and this new king wants the same thing. He wants power, he wants them to have all
Yeah.
these different gods and worship, and then he dies, and a new king, and these new empires rise and fall. And Daniel, I'm trying to think of his perspective, that he feels like he's always back at square one because there's this new leader, and he's still having to share God in the midst of it. But the one thing that I think you can take from it is no matter who's in charge, no matter the leader, and that's not just the president, that's in your workplaces, that's in your families, that's in all of authority structures that you have in your life. God is the ultimate authority, and he's the one on the throne. And if you
Yeah.
trust in him, everything that you think that's a mess is going to work for good to those who believe. You have to believe that, because there's
Yeah.
no other hope, in this mess. It could have been so much different. But for us who believe, to those called according to his purpose, we are promised through scripture that he works all things for good to those who believe. Even a
Mhm.
shooting like this, even as horrible as it is for the families of those who were lost, but seeing throughout history, knowing that we have a savior that came exactly when he needed to come, we got to believe that God's in control, even in a mess like this. I don't know, but
Yeah.
doesn't make it easy to trust.
No.
Makes it even more difficult when it's a mess like this. But it
Yeah.
ultimately becomes that much greater of a builder of faith when you see that God can move even in the midst of this. And one thing that I'm kind of pivoting, and I'm talking too much. I promise I'll pass it back over to you. But um, I, I think you're starting to see a little bit more from your mainstream celebrities speaking about faith. And I might be off base on that, and comment if you think I'm wrong there. And I'm not trying to push like a post millennial view where things are going to get better before he comes. I'm
Mhm.
not saying that at all. I'm not trying to get into that. What I am saying is, I think with everything, the world seeming like there's so many awful things going on, which sure maybe we could say that, you're seeing more and more people speak out about their faith and ask questions. People are becoming more curious about God and their faith, and they're asking more questions. I mean, Logan
Mhm.
Paul's one, for instance. We've talked about him on here before. The more that you see him, the more that he's becoming more and more open to asking questions. I'm not saying he's a follower or anything yet, and I pray that he does. But this is a
Mhm.
huge megastar. I mean, on everything, and starting to ask more questions. It's not just him. Russell Brand, one of the biggest movie stars in the world, converted, and now he's outspoken about his faith. And I think a lot of those mainstream celebrities, even if they were Christian, were starting to kind of distance themselves, whether they were scared of brand deals or different things
Hmm.
that they would lose. But they're becoming more outspoken, and I encourage you all that are listening to this to start to look for that, because it's encouraged me. It's kind of motivated me. They're taking this, they're risking their followers and their brands to because they believe in this. They want to know. So all of this stuff that's happening, all this mess, God's still in the movie, still working, and He's still saving people and bringing them closer to Himself. Um, and I'm encouraged with that.
Yeah, I think especially now, I think celebrities are getting. I think just with the whole this time of our lives that people are just so free to say kind of what they want,
Yep,
especially in both ways. Obviously, I think Christianity gets a lot more hate
sure.
than anything else does.
Yeah,
Um, but I think that they feel more even and just to push away the brand, and they're willing to get rid of that. Like
yeah,
they would be willing to say things even if it means that they lose certain things.
yep,
Um, and I think that's a great point, especially in nowadays. I just um, and you do see that, and I think people are also realizing, and I'll just say I think this presidency has brought in people to this place where they see so much evil in the world. Not that it hasn't happened before, but it's really brought it out now, I think.
yeah,
And we're seeing it more and more and more. And I think that they're really starting to question, and I think they're getting past, some of them are at least, getting past this political stance and getting more of why is this happening to us as humans and in general, not just, oh, you know, whatever it may be. I think they're realizing that it's more than just a simple issue.
yeah,
And I think they're
yeah,
starting to question, and I think they're seeing that there has to be some some God out there intervening with us.
yeah,
And yeah, I think it's bringing up a lot of questions, and I hope that a lot of them would come to know him. But I mean, in the sad reality, most likely not. That we see fame and money gets to a lot of people. But yeah, I think that's a great point.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but anything else you wanted to say about that?
I don't think so. No.
But on to some lighter stuff. If we the Olympics basketball team, and we'll talk about that. We have the Olympics coming up for all sports, but really right now the basketball is kind of getting highlighted. And we're both excited. By the way, before this, we don't have that much longer till football starts. We had college
Predictions will
football
be
come
back.
out. College football came out. I don't have the privilege of uh, playing it, but someone else does.
Just won a
So
national championship this morning. It's no big
yeah.
deal. Just
What's your message to Albina, really quick, about this game?
you know what? There's this principle in Scripture called iron sharpening iron,
Yeah.
and there's also this thing of like building up one another.
Mhm.
Um, and but brothers in Christ, um, really spending time with one another.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of different outlets that can happen.
Mhm.
There's a ton. There's a ton. But I
Ton of.
think that especially like in today's world, there's like one that kind of stands out from the rest.
Yeah.
And I'm here today to say that outlet is a college football game. So
Yeah.
if she really wants like us to do our
Sharpen
jobs
iron,
well,
sharpening iron. If that's what you want.
yes, um, then that needs to happen.
Yeah.
Is us two starting a dynasty together and you know building programs because
Yeah. And what
spend
needs
time.
to happen for that to happen?
A PS5 will have to be purchased.
Yes.
So
And the
and
game.
and the game will have to be bought. But small price to pay for. You remember what Armstrong said on the moon? One small step,
For man,
one giant leap. I think that's what it was. That might have to be helped out. I don't remember. That
don't.
sounded a lot cooler in my head, but it was yeah.
I forgot the Trinity at my wedding. So you know,
I do remember that. Yeah, there was a little bit of a mix up there.
that's
Easy
okay.
mistake. Easy mistake. It happens.
It happened, and you know how it wouldn't happen if iron would sharpen iron, and I can't get
Exactly.
that.
You're clouded. You need an outlet to just focus on something and take care of business. So
Anyway, yeah. So Albina,
and teams are
PS5.
reaching out. Teams are reaching out. Check your email. It's all these teams that are waiting for you to build their programs, and you can't do that without the
I can't.
game. But also, your church would probably appreciate you not getting the game because that has a lot of my attention too.
Yeah.
It's a fun game. I'll say that.
Oh, that was good.
I have to cut
So
some of this out.
Albina, please just
Oh man.
take one for the team here, and let's just go ahead and get a PS5. Digital version. I don't even need the CD. That's
You don't you
cheaper.
don't you don't have to have a physical copy. That's the great thing about our world
One
today. We can
line.
complain about so many things, but there are so many great things in our world, and this is one of them.
Digital version of PS5.
That's right.
Anyways,
Oh man.
with that, with that,
I don't,
the basketball Olympics are
they just had a
going.
game this morning. Well,
What?
noon. It finished up right before we started recording.
Oh, really? Did they win?
Yep. They played Serbia. That's Jokic. Jokic is on them, and they won pretty good. Steph, I think, had 24, but he had like 17 in the first half. He had a great first half. Um, Anthony Edwards, man, just tough. But
And
man, just seeing LeBron James and Steph Curry on the same court, I I don't mean to be dramatic, but my life is complete. Like I'll just be honest. Like there's not too many more
there's
things
not
I
much
want to
else.
see. There's I mean, that is it's beautiful to watch. I mean that is basketball. Steph Curry and LeBron James. If I could have one wish, man, it would be to get Steph Curry on the same team as LeBron. I think it would add 5 years to LeBron's career. I think we'd have two more rings to add to his resume, and things would be right in the world. I will say that. So
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
this is a
And
crazy podcast. If people get to this place, if people watch it here,
today,
I don't know what's up with us, man. I don't
today
know.
is unplugged. That's all we gotta say.
It is. It is.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched really any of it. I've just been seeing some highlights, and
Yeah.
it is. I've seen the lob from Curry to LeBron. That was
Beautiful.
that
Beautiful.
was just. But yeah, Anthony Edwards,
Anthony
arguably,
Davis had 6 blocks today.
did he really?
Yes. What are you
I
gonna say about Edwards? I'm curious. What are you saying?
hear me out. I think once LeBron retires,
He's the guy.
Anthony Edwards may be the, and Wemby's out there. I think Anthony Edwards is going to be that guy.
I do too. He's just got the personality for it. And again, Wemby will probably be the most dominant player in the league.
Yeah.
For decades, probably.
You have to
But
be at that height.
you have to be. And that's what I'm saying. Ever since, I mean, you think about the history of the league, it's always been a guard to forward. That's been the face of the league. Okay.
Hmm.
That guard that's flashy, that's a dunker. Wemby's going to be amazing. It's just a little bit tougher to sell to people because you can't relate to him. There is one of him. He's 7'10", 7'4" or 7'5". Nobody's reaching
He
that.
touches the rim without jumping.
Nobody can attain that. But Anthony Edwards, he is tall, superhuman athlete. There's not too many people like him. But he's 6'4". He can jump out of the gym. He's flashy, but his charisma, his I mean, his confidence. I mean, he's just fun to watch.
Yeah.
They found their next guy, and it's him. I
Yeah.
think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. They just got to get him out of Minnesota.
Yeah.
That just doesn't sell. It's like Justin Jefferson. Him and Justin Jefferson, same place.
I am honestly shocked that Justin Jefferson is still in Minnesota, especially after
Signing that
trading.
deal, I'm shocked too. Yeah.
But anyways, we went all over the
What's our
place
time?
today.
Yeah, good grief. Yeah,
But hey, it was good.
it was a fun
I
time.
liked it.
Yeah,
Got a little unplugged from us today.
got to see
Um,
a little bit more about us.
yeah, yeah. But hey, football's coming up. We're gonna get back to our weekly predictions. I'm
Me
excited
too.
about that. Get the point
Yep.
system back.
Why don't you remind everybody who won last year? Who won that?
I don't think it's necessary.
I think the audience remembers. So you probably don't even need to say it. But
What we need to do is get a little banner.
yeah,
Background.
we'll keep it. We'll keep it up. Yeah.
Keep that. Anyways, fantasy's coming up. We
Yep.
had our draft for our.
Pretty pleased with my team. I must say, pretty pleased.
I am as well. I
Yep.
think this year is going to be insane. But we'll see.
This has to be my
Hopefully,
year. This has to be. This
let me
has
tell
to
you.
be my year.
I'll say this right now, Kale Vickery, if you are listening, if you win again, is this 3? He's already won 3, right?
I know it's 2 in a
Or
row.
2?
2 in a row.
If you three-peat, Vickery, we're gonna have to ban you.
There's going to be a new league started. Yes.
You're not gonna be in it.
Yes.
There's just no possible way that he can win again, and it's insane. I just can't do it.
It is.
But yeah, Vickery, if you are listening, we all despise you in fantasy. I cannot stand you in fantasy. Great person, but
He's
fantasy,
too good. He's
absolutely
too
just
good.
hate
I
you.
don't know. Yeah.
So thank you guys for listening this
This
week.
was a fun one. This was a fun one.
Hopefully maybe you can get some comments out of this one. Comment
Probably
what
not.
you'd like us to talk about. Maybe we'll do a top 5 next week.
Yep.
And we hope you guys have a great week. We'll see you sometime.
See you all.